Hello, my name's Megan Reimer, and I went to the Rosedale Union School District board meeting on May 12th at 7 p.m. It was held in the Rosedale Middle School multi-purpose room. The meeting started out with the Rosedale Middle School Jazz Band playing a few songs, and then Rosedale North Student Body President Brant Self, a little boy, he gave a speech about Camp Keep at Morro Bay and his favorite part, and then he talked about fundraisers at the school that help raise money and how they do that. He talked about the Stencils and Pencils Drive, a father-daughter dance, mother-daughter sock hop, and Battle of the Books. And then it started off with the retirements in the Rosedale Union School District. So there was quite a few retirements, which was really awesome to watch and see how happy the teachers were to receive their awards from the from the board member, from the board president. It was giving them out, and it was just really neat to watch them. They were still super excited about their jobs and lots of tears, and their families seeing the awards. So it started with Jennifer Burton, who gave 21 years to Rosedale Union. She's the secretary at Rosedale North, and she was retiring. And then it went on to Debbie Gallington at Independence Elementary, who was a second grade teacher, and she was retiring. And then it was Karen Hubbard, who's the school clerk at Freedom Middle School for over 16 years. And then Cheryl Sewell, and she's a teacher at American Elementary for 18 years. So a lot of these people put in tons of time at these schools, so they must really love this district, and it just was really neat to see the bonds and how they were almost like a family. Next was Constantine, and she was a teacher at Del Rio for 36 years. I think they said that she was the longest employee at the Rosedale Union School District ever, so 36 years. Wow. Kathy Warren was a teacher at Freedom Middle School for 15 years. Like I said, all of these were so many years of service. And then next was Golden Apple Awards, which I guess they do that at every board meeting, and it's for teachers or school staff, anyone at the school that is really standing out, that is a staff member, and they get voted on by other staff members to receive these awards. So that was really neat too to watch. Bob Bray is the principal at American Elementary School. He received a Golden Apple. And Diana Cable, which was a teacher at Rosedale North. And then some other ones was Kim Cowden, an attendance clerk at Patriot Elementary, and Charlene Strum is an instructional aide at Del Rio Elementary. So it could be anyone in the staff as long as they're being recognized and doing a great job. And community recipients that help out in the schools also, there's 2 awards given to them. So Adam Alvidrez from Project Lead the Way for Rosedale Middle School and Freedom Middle School was given a Golden Apple, and Rich Arner from Kern River Fly Fishing from Freedom Middle School. It said that they were saying that he's been doing this program with Freedom Middle School for a really long time now, and he brings trout into the classrooms and teaches the kids how to do fly fishing, and he teaches about the habitats and where they live, and then they get to go on a field trip to the Kern River and do a trout release. So that was pretty cool. The Project Lead the Way is from Chevron, actually. It was a Chevron employee, and they took the kids from Freedom and Rosedale Middle School to a field trip at Disneyland to teach how the rides are made and different, the engineering of the roller coasters. So that was really neat as well. They talked about Donors Choose funding programs. So it's really interesting to find out about the different programs that schools have or that you as a teacher can reach out to get funding in your classroom. So I thought that was really neat about the board meeting to show the ways that we can do those things. And then next, they went on into the superintendent's reports and going over approvals of like grants. And so they actually, before that, they did the tenures of the teachers, the approval of the grants for 10 years, which was super cool. All the teachers were cheering and so excited and relieved that they had a job for next year. So that was really fun to watch, and I actually knew a couple people. So pretty neat to watch them all get announced and receive their placings. So it looks like they were all approved to get their jobs. There was a list of people who were retiring and resigning as well, but they didn't really announce that stuff at the meeting, just the retirements. So next was, okay, so yeah, then the approvals of the aides and there was, okay, so the grants for 10 years was Amanda Abbott at Almondale Elementary, Henry Arias, a PE teacher, Renee Boziak, a teacher at Freedom Middle School, and Jean Benavides, a teacher at Freedom Middle School. Quite a few. It'll be on the agenda and I'll upload it because there's a lot, but it was really neat to see. I mean, there's over 20 people who were announced, so really exciting for them to get to come back. And then there was going into the general business of motions let's see, it looks like they went over the science testing. So it said Mrs. Lemon finished science testing at 98% because it was right around this testing time with common computer-based testing, and should have results in 3 to 4 weeks for planning for the next year for 2015-2016. They don't have the results yet. 4.6 was the superintendent report stating that there was 5,423 students enrolled. 500 of them were kindergarten, and they really want to boost their kindergarten enrollments, I guess, at the schools. But that's what they're at right now, just for next year. So hopefully over the summer they'll get some more enrollments. They went over the end of the school year events. Elementary open houses were that week that I went. Honor roll banquets for Freedom was on the night before, on May 11th. And then I messed up my dates. The graduation for Freedom was going to be at Frontier on May 29th, so that already happened on Friday. And then Rosedale's was held at Liberty High School the same day. And then on May 22nd, meeting with the governor, the district office superintendents were going to meet with them, and they said they're almost complete with the ADA compaction for parking lot at the Rosedale Union School District. Brooke Webb and Dr. Tom program for gifted students is what they were going to bring up at the meeting with the governor. They're trying to get funding for a gifted students program. And then Stockdale Ranch Road for new school boundary approval tonight to vote for. The Del Rio and Almondale boundaries, and it was approved that night that they would change those boundaries to keep the kids in the same kind of schools. So, let's see, what's next here? And then they went on to 9.2, which is approval for requests for catastrophic leave for classified employees, and that was approved. Approval for reduction services for classified employees was also approved. And then they went on to exchange property with Rio Bravo Greenleaf Union School District, bringing to the city, and that was approved as well. And the school to home transportation equity, it was SB 191, that was also approved. And then next was to approval recommendation to award a Centennial bus loop for Centennial School, and that was approved as well. And then 10.3 county services through K through 6 was approved. Most of all the motions were approved. I didn't see any that weren't. There was the next one's 10.4 understanding between Kern County teacher development and beginning teacher support and assessment and clear education, the BITSA program and the CSIP, and those were approved as well. Approval for Kern County Superintendent of Schools to provide county level education services for K through 6 approved. Like I said, I'm gonna upload this, so all of the motions were approved. That I was there that night. Their only thing was they did 10.8. May is Staff Appreciation Month, the whole month. That was approved too. They said they didn't want to do just 1 week, they wanted to have a whole month for that. And 10.9, the LCAP budget is tentative. And so they had 750 parents respond to the survey this year, and last year they only had 300. So they had it sent out from each school and online on the school's web pages, so they got a lot more feedback. And they also gathered face-to-face input from the staff and held meetings, so they felt like that was a lot more effective this year to get the LCAP feedback. And next, for the board member items, the superintendent went over goals. So the goal number 1 was goal for ELA, and goal 2 was for math. And all students make progress toward college and career readiness by high quality curriculum and instruction. And the action for the school district was to provide tutors and instructional aids. Goal 2, professional leadership. Action is to have mentor coaches and provide staff with instruction on technology plans for each grade level. It has 2 mentors to maintain high quality staff. So they feel like they need to train their staff on some of the newer technology more, so they're going to bring in some mentors to help out with that. I felt like the goal for ELA and goal for math kind of relates to history in our textbook about the No Child Left Behind Act and English language learners, and just how to include everyone and get everyone ready and aimed towards college, and that they are focusing on the whole school in this, just like in our book says that, No Child Left Behind Act makes sure that we can't leave those bilingual learners behind, and it doesn't really refer to them as bilingual, it refers to them as English language acquisition learners. So I feel like that relates to the history from a long time ago, because we're still dealing with making sure that we are including them all, providing better services for them. I know one of the motions was to make sure that they're providing services through K through 6. So that relates to our book with that information for ELLs. And also the gifted students. There's not a lot of funding for gifted students, and that was stated in the book as well, that the funding for gifted students is a little bit short sometimes, but there are programs out there, and sometimes they just don't get approved. The money is there and they have the funds, but sometimes the programs aren't approved. And one of the motions in tonight's board meeting, the board meeting from May 12th was about gifted students and how at Rosedale Middle and Freedom Middle, are trying to imply a gifted students program and make sure that they are giving them better opportunities to challenge those students. So back to the goals, though, that the superintendent was talking about and that he had introduced to the governor, and came back and the school district revised their goals because they were a little too long before, so these are more concise. Goal number 3, stakeholder agreement. The action is a flag program and art program at the middle schools full-time. And elementary school expanding elementary music program. And also they want to have full-time PE teachers at grades 4 through 6. They were lacking on the PE teachers previous years and music program, and before those were all paid through for the parent club members and the parent club fundraisers, so they are trying to have this goal where it's not through that anymore and that it can fit into the budget. Which those things also go relating back to our book with physical education programs, getting less funding because they need to give more funding to the math and science and reading programs. The music programs are more considered like extracurricular things now instead of just being funded. Like when I was in school, we had music programs all the time. Now the students don't as much, so they are trying really hard to get expanding to the elementary to have a full-time music program. Goal number 4, data analysis. Action is create a caveat, and the caveat was a dean at each school. But Del Rio and Centennial will share a dean because they're smaller elementary schools. It says a half or a part-time dean at Patriot Elementary and a part-time dean at Rosedale North. Full-time deans will be at American, Almondale, and Patriot. And they just really want to have deans at most of their schools that are able to be in charge, be contacted with any conflicts. They saw great feedback from staff, employees, principals last year from placing a few more deans at their schools, so they're going to really try to at least have a part-time dean at every elementary school. The full-time will definitely be at Rosedale Middle and Freedom Middle. They have to have deans there, but for their elementary schools, they're going to try to, some of them, 3 of them are having full-time deans, American, Almondale, and Patriot. Those are their larger schools. And the other ones will have half-time or part-time deans and share. So that was all that was talked about in the meeting that night. Just make sure I went over everything real quick. But basically what I thought was pretty cool was programs for gifted learners. I liked watching all the teachers get their 10-year announcements. It was super exciting. It's something that we're going to be looking forward to once we graduate the credential program. So it just shows you what you have to look forward to and how exciting that is. It was neat to watch. The retirement speeches were amazing. I mean, those people every one of them almost had put in 15 years of service or more. So that's awesome. Shows a lot about that district, that people enjoy working for them when they spend lots of their time there. And then the meeting was adjourned. I didn't write down the time exactly that we left, but I think it was a little bit after 9 o'clock. Oh no, sorry, I did write it down. 8:38 p.m. is when they closed the hearing. And then afterwards, went up and introduced myself to the board members. I got a picture with Trish Froelich, talked to them. They're really looking for teachers to hire, so they were encouraging us all to come back. They were super encouraging, provided names, phone numbers, and email addresses for contact and help with everything. The superintendent, John Mendeburo, was super helpful. He said he went to CSUB and everything, and so he was really encouraging to the students that were there. There was a few other students there from Cal State as well. And it was a really nice meeting to see. There was one parent who did do a complaint. They had to hold it off for a while. So she did come with an issue because there is a time where the public's open to speak. But because they were doing the retirement and the golden apples, she had to wait. Her name was Mrs. Wermeister, and she was a parent of a 7th grader at Freedom. And she was complaining about Chuck Monaco not coming back, and I think he's the principal there. So she was wanting to like give a speech about how he was a great principal, and she was very disappointed to find out that he wouldn't be returning next year. I don't know what the issue was with that. She was saying that she knew that they couldn't discuss why he wasn't coming back, but she basically wanted to go and give a good report on his behalf and let them know that her and her child would really be missing him, and that he really helped her son out. I guess he was kind of a troubled student before, but he spent a lot of time with her son, and she said he was always walking around campus helping out with the students and not stuck in his office all day long. So she really appreciated his efforts, and she hopes that they place a new principal that will be the same way next year. Other than that, that's all I have on the board meeting for Rosedale Union School District held on May 12th at 7 p.m.